Hey everybody, welcome back to another little devotional video on the New City Catechism. This week we are looking at question 4. How and why did God create us? The answer is God created us, male and female, in his own image, to know him, love him, live with him, and glorify him. And it is right that we who were created by God should live to his glory. This answer really answers one of the classic big questions. One of those questions that everybody asks at some point, a question that's at the center of our search for meaning and purpose. Why am I here? What's the meaning of life? What's it all about? Well, according to the Bible, the answer is I'm here to glorify God. What does that mean, glorify God? Well, in Genesis chapter 1, when the Bible describes God creating human beings, it says he created them in his own image. Now, why do you make an image of something? Well, you do it to remind people of the original, or to point people to the original, to communicate something about the original. Say, for example, I make a statue of some ancient hero. When people look at that statue, I don't just want them thinking about the statue, I want them to think about the hero and what that hero did or what that hero was like. The same is true for us, created in the image of God. Our purpose, my purpose for existing, is to point the world around me to God, to make them see and think of what he's like and what he's done and who he is. And that's your purpose too. It's the purpose of every human being. And you might think, well, that's kind of weird and kind of selfish for God to make us just for his own glory. And that's why the rest of this answer is so important, because it also says that he created us to know him and to love him and to live with him. And it turns out God is most glorified when we know him and love him and live with him. And that's the best possible thing for us. God is most glorified when we experience our greatest possible good. So in the perfect, wise plan of God, his greatest glory and our greatest good come together. That's really cool. In short, you could say God created us for our good and his glory. And it's pretty clear to me that a lot of people miss out on the first part of that because they don't focus on the second part. So many people, and even Christians, more often than we'd care to admit, we live for ourselves. We don't live for God's glory, but we live for us. And then we wonder, why can't I seem to find the good life? Why can't I experience the best possible life? Why can't I find purpose and meaning? Why is it never enough? Well, it's because we're living for something other than what we were made for. And I'm convinced it's only when we live for the glory of God, when we live lives intended to reflect who he is and to bring him glory, that's when we'll experience the greatest possible good, because God made us for our good and for his glory. And so we're only ever going to experience that when we live lives that are lived with an intent to know him, with a longing to love him, to live in relationship with him, lives that glorify him. If you have any questions about this or you want to discuss it further, as always, leave a comment or reach out to me. I'd love to spark more discussion out of this. Does this make sense? And what do we do going forward from here? We're going to talk more about all of these things on Sunday morning as we seek to figure out what it looks like, according to the Bible, to live lives that glorify God. That's really what we're trying to do every Sunday morning when we gather as a church. And I'd love for you to come and be part of that. We'd love to see you then. Otherwise, I will see you next time. That's all for now.